Molweni sanibonani dumelang abusheni. Hola amigos. I'm A2 and I welcome you to once again another segment of my channel called Putting Others Up. And so today I will be discussing 8 things to do while you are single from a single person's perspective. Yes, people. So reason why I decided to do this is because I see a lot of YouTubers and a lot of well-known people speak about this, but not all of them speak about this while they are unmarried. And there's nothing wrong with that, but at times it just helps to have someone who's in the same marital status as another person speaking on this, because it just makes it so much more relatable and so much more believable. Now let me get straight to it. So number one is prioritizing mental health. Now, this is very important because, there are sayings like you can't love another person until you've loved yourself, and so on and so forth, which is actually true because if you think about it, however you think of yourself or whatever you think of yourself, it's going to get portrayed to the next person. It's going to be seen by the next person. And it's so true when they say that how others treat you will be a reflection of how you treat yourself. So if you're not treating yourself well, don't expect other people to treat you. Very few people who you've come across who will treat you well even though you don't think highly of yourself. So it's just important for you to believe in yourself, to treat yourself the way that you know you deserve. And how you can do this is by saying words of affirmation, meaning telling yourself positive thoughts about yourself, in such a way that your negative thoughts end up just not being heard that often, because you are encouraging yourself, you are telling yourself good things about yourself, you are choosing to look at your strengths. I'm not saying ignore your weaknesses, but you're choosing to believe in your strengths more than your weaknesses. Because at the end of the day, no one thrives by listening to negative things about themselves, not from themselves, not from anyone. So it's important, people, let's just prioritize our mental health, put ourselves first as well. That's how you're also gonna be working on yourself and prioritizing your mental health. Also, just forgive yourself. We don't get this right because it's so easy for us to forgive other people, but we actually need to practice more self-forgiveness, because when we forgive ourselves, we're able to move on to the next chapter of our lives. We're able to move on to bigger and better things, and we're able to use our emotions better and to be better in tuned better with our emotions when we have forgiven ourselves. And it's also really just important for us to give ourselves grace, because God, has given us grace. He gives us grace every single day. Other people forgive us, but now when we can't give ourselves grace, what do we expect of ourselves really? Where do we think our mental thoughts will go if we're not giving ourselves grace? Second tip is get deeper in your relationship with God. Okay, just basically get deeper in your relationship with God. Read the Bible regularly, if not daily. I know it's difficult to read the Bible every day because of work and other commitments, but it just helps to read it on a daily basis, or on a regular English, on a regular basis, because by reading the word we get to understand more of God's love and all of the wonderful things that God is associated with. We get to also understand the word for ourselves, so that when a false prophet or false teacher comes away, we're not easily deceived, and we can actually just stand firm on God's promises, because it's been said that there's like over 7,000 promises in the word. So that's a lot of promises. So yes, people, and it just makes it so much easier for us to grow spiritually and to just really feel the love of God. And it's also easier for us to now share that word with others, and to also understand singleness and marriage better. Then what else? Oh, worship and praise sessions. So yes, people, that's also another way of getting deep into your relationship with God, because when you are listening to music and you're just freely worshiping God, whether it's at church or at your places of residence, or at Bible studies or home cells, it's so nice to feel connected with God, because there is that intimacy that happens whereby you are listening to music and you're just freely worshiping Him, and you're worshiping Him honestly. You mean each and every single one of those words that are mentioned in the song. So, yes, people, I encourage you to do that. I also encourage you to attend church often. I encourage you to attend home cell and Bible studies often, obviously after the coronavirus. But yes, people, it just helps, spiritually. And then the third thing is living in your purpose. So, good people, there is this question that just gets asked year in, year out, which is, what is my purpose? And for that, if you are believing Christ, you can ask God what it is. Otherwise, one of the things that I believe helps people to find their purpose is to ask themselves, what do they do that actually makes them happy? So whether that's by helping other people, or I don't know, doing something that you love, but what you do that you love, I believe surely will give you a clue as to what your purpose could be. So if you love helping people, that's great. If you love encouraging people, or if you love working with numbers and you like making numbers so much more simpler for others to understand, that could lead to your purpose. If you love taking care of animals, maybe being a veterinarian is for you. So it just helps to ask yourself, what do you love? What could you see yourself doing more often that could make you fulfilled? What makes you feel happy? What makes you feel like you are living a meaningful life? Those are good questions to ask yourself. And for me, what helps me to be living in my purpose, I believe my purpose is to help people, is to encourage people. So what I'm doing currently is doing YouTube videos. I believe this is helping someone out there because I like encouraging people. I am also using my talents, my arts related talents. So it's the poetry, it's I'm going to be getting into singing very soon, one of these days, because I got a word about this even, and people have just been like, you look like you can sing and you sound like you can sing and all of that. I'm like, okay, I think God has been speaking to these people for a long time, so I'm gonna be delving into singing. And yes, people. Then the fourth thing is nurturing your talents. So I don't know of anyone who doesn't feel happy or fulfilled when they're not nurturing their talents. So it helps to nurture your talents, be it mathematics, be it maybe being the best bicycle rider, or spoken word, or singing. It just helps nurture your talents, because when you nurture your talents, you unconsciously give other people the permission to also nurture their talents. Then the fifth thing is studying further. Well, for those of us who want to study further, this could be something that you could do while you're being single, because um, I know of people who are married and who are studying, and they say that it's quite difficult to balance um, their job commitments and then all the other things along with studying. So it helps to actually study now while you are still single, rather than I'm not saying that you shouldn't study while you're married, but you have a lot more time to actually go and study now, rather than the less time you have when you're married to actually go and pursue studies. But hey, each to his own. But for me, what I'm doing is that I'm studying now. I'm studying things that are interesting to me, and I'm enjoying it. And yeah, I'll see where I go with all of these studies. But I believe that it's all going to help me with regards to furthering my purpose more and fulfilling more that God has for me to do in my purpose. Then pursuing new hobbies. So, yes, people, what makes life so interesting is pursuing something new, be it maybe you've been wanting to attend a cooking class, or you've been wanting to sing, or whatever. It just, right now as a single person, you actually have a lot of more time to pursue new hobbies. So, you should consider it. What I'm doing is practicing the guitar. I haven't been practicing the guitar lately, but I'm gonna be getting into full mode of just being a guitarist and just, strumming like nobody's business, because I know that I have a lot of time as an unmarried person, and I know that strumming the guitar is going to be beneficial somewhere somehow. So, because who knows, maybe I might just start singing with my guitar. So yeah. Then the seventh, English. This language has just never been so kind, really, to people that are not the native speakers. Um, yeah, don't tell Uncle George I said that. Okay, budgeting, yes. So it's easy for us now to look at something that we want and be like, hey, I want that. But if you know how much you're earning and you know how much your expenses are and you know what your needs and your wants are, it will be easier for you to prioritize, what should be bought and what shouldn't. And, a lot of people get into debt unnecessarily. Why? Because they want whatever they want that they see in front of them. So it helps to budget, it helps to record your expenses and then to make a list of what it is that you need each and every single month, if not each and every single day. And this just helps us because even when you get married, it's going to be so paramount for you to know how to budget, how to make place a budget for your needs and your wants, because I believe it's going to help you to know what your priorities are financially with your spouse, because you don't want to end up having unnecessary debt and things leading to divorce now because you couldn't manage your money properly while you were still single. So bear that in mind. And then the last tip number 8, is prioritizing healthy relationships and friendships. This is so important because even I'm seeing now in my single state that I have decided to prioritize friendships that are really beneficial to me, in a sense that I am getting something back in terms of I'm learning something new from a friend. I am being motivated and encouraged by my friends, and I'm also doing the same thing. I believe I'm doing the same thing because it's life is too short. We can acquire all these material things and whatnot, and all these educational qualifications, and we can travel the world. But now, if we don't have a good support system, things don't quite, go well for us emotionally because we might not have a good support system. So it's important just to have, um, you know, good friends. If you don't have friends, pray about it, and also just make a list of the qualities you want in your friends, but also make sure that you are actually that person with those good qualities that you would like to attract those type of friends, because like attracts like. And pursuing healthy relationships is just, if you still have your parents, treat your parents right while they're still alive. Treat your all of your relatives well, treat society well, basically. But we all know who's a good influence in our lives and who isn't. So it's important just to be honest with yourself and to tell yourself, hey, if you don't like that person, why do you continue to interact with them as if they are your friend even though you don't like them? Be honest with yourself, because honesty is the best policy, and honesty leads to more growth and it cuts out all of the riff rap. So it's important just to place, priorities on friendships, be there for the people who are there for you. If you haven't spoken to someone like a relative or friend or whoever because you're beefing or because you're not getting along, forgive that person and talk things out. Hear what they have to say from their side and just talk things out and forgive them and forgive yourself, because time is limited. Hey, like life is too short. Jesus is going to be coming back very soon, one of these days, and you don't want to find yourself, still having an unforgiving heart. Yes, that was a mouthful, but thank you, good people, for listening. Do share your comments in the section below. I appreciate them. I read them. Thank you. If you have any future suggestions, feel free to do so. Take care, and you'll be seeing me next time.